Hello, dear students. Very good morning. In continuation of our previous important passages for explanation from The Merchant of Venice, the comedy play written by William Shakespeare, today we shall go ahead. We have already done some passages from the Act 1 of this play. Now we start with the Act 2, and I have chosen right now two passages from Act 2, Scene 1 and Scene 3. So let's have the passage number 1. I recite the text, and the text is: By this scimitar that slew the Sophie and a Persian prince that won 3 fields of Sultan Suleiman, I would outstare the sternest eyes that look, outbrave the heart most daring on the earth, pluck the young suckling cubs from the she bear, yeah, mock the lion when he roars for prey to win thee, lady. So, this is the passage, and the reference of this passage is that this is taken from this play, The Merchant of Venice, Act 2, Scene 1. And these words have been spoken by the Prince of Morocco to Portia when he is going to make his choice of the casket in order to marry Portia. So now let us see that the scene shifts. In the Act 1, we saw that Antonio was sad, but he didn't know why he was sad. Then we came to know about Bassanio, who was in need of money because he wanted to marry Portia, and later on we will see that. The third thing that we saw in the Act 1 was that Antonio wanted to get the loan from Shylock for his best friend Bassanio. Shylock and Antonio, both of them are anti or opposite to each other. Antonio hates him, Shylock, as well as in the opportunity to get the revenge for that. However, Shylock agrees to give the money, but on some conditions. And in this way, we saw that Antonio was moving towards the bond that was prepared by Shylock, and the condition was that if he fails to repay the payment, Shylock will be entitled to get 1 pound of his body. That is what we saw in the Act 1. Now the scene shifts. The Act 1 was in the city of Venice. Now we move to the city of Belmont, where Portia is waiting for the best suitor or the best person who will choose the right casket, and then he will marry her. But many princes from different states came, but they could not choose the right casket. Here we have the description of one of them, that is the Prince of Aragon. He has come, Prince of Morocco. He has come there to woo the Princess Portia. The Prince of Morocco is very much proud of his noble birth, his bravery, and he considered himself superior to the white shooters. So he says that he says to Portia that her father was wrong. He must not have laid such restrictions on her to marry. Because why it is so? Because he says that it is possible that some unworthy person may choose the right cascade by chance, and then she will have to marry with him. He also thinks that she may be disliked because of his color, because of his black skin. So he tells Portia that his blood is also as red as that of the any white person. In the physical strength and bravery, there is none who could equal him. But Portia tells him or explains him that in this matter of choice, she is bound by her father's will, bound by the terms of the lottery, and as such, she is also not like the other maidens who are led away by appearance. If she is left free by her father's will, even then she will choose her husband by reason and judgment rather than by their external appearance. So, in this way, we see the conversation between the Prince of Morocco and the Princess Portia. I had already cleared you what was the condition or what was the will of her father, that there were three cascades and the suitors has to choose the right cascade, right one, only to whom Portia will marry. Now let us go with these lines, because these lines have been spoken by the Prince of Morocco, and I have given you all the reference and what he has basically said, and what kind of prince he is. That is, he is proud of his bravery and all that. In these lines, the Prince Morocco, addressing to Portia, swears, take an oath, swears by his sword. He had his sword, a small sword with him. He says, he swears by his sword which slew the Shah of Persia. That is, he take an oath of this sword which has defeated the Shah of Persia, and a Persian prince also, who had won 3 engagements against the Sultan of Turkey. So let us go with the lines. He says, by this scimitar, by this sword, by this small sword, which slew the Sophie, that I told you, that is the Shah of Persia, and a prince as well as the Persian prince, who defeated 3 times to the Sultan of Turkey. So, the Prince of Morocco means to say that he had defeated the Sophie and a Persian prince because due to or with this sword. So he take a swear with this sword that he would outstare the sternest eyes that look, that he would also be stained all the time with earnest, with sternest eyes, against sternest eyes all the time. That is, he is ready to fight, he is ready to win, He has those physical capabilities. Outbrave the heart most daring on the earth. And he is capable to defeat those heart which are most daring on this earth. That is, he is he is very much boast of his bravery and sword. So he tells Portia that he has the capabilities of the prince as well as capabilities to marry her. Then he also tells he pluck the young suckling cubs from the she bear. He can also pluck the young suckling cubs, the small cubs from the she bear, from the she bear. So he can take away the young sucking cubs from the mother bear. She bear means mother bear. And even he would challenge the hungry lion who is roaring for his prey. So he can do all these things and therefore take a swear before her that she should marry him, not minding his color, his blackish color, his blackish skin, but minding the valor, the courage, the bravery that he has. So he would be able to challenge the hungry lions roaring for his prey in order to win Portia. So this is the meaning of these lines. The reference as well as the context, I think it must be clear to you. Now let us see some critical note. Critical note is also clear. Here Morocco assumes that he will be disliked. He assumes that he will be disliked because of his color, because of his blackish color. But his boast of physical strength and courage that he tries to show Portia, swearing with his scimitar, or his boasting of the previous trims that he had, could not appreciate or will not be appreciated by the luxurious life of Belmont. Meaning, the meaning is that the luxurious life of or the life of Belmont city is different. There will be no influence of his bravery and valor upon Portia because she is living in a different environment. So, the environment of Belmont is different, that is not of kind of chivalry. Or his feats might impress the world of Tamerlane or Macbeth, but it will not impress the world of Portia because we saw that Portia is stuck with the conditions or with the will of her father and she won't go against that. Now let's go with the second text or the second passage, which is also from the Act 2, and I recite the lines. Alack, what heinous sin is it in me to be ashamed to be my father's child? But though I am a daughter to his blood, I am not to his manners. These lines, again from the Merchant of Venice, Act 2, Scene 3, and these words have been here spoken by Jessica. Who is Jessica? Jessica is the daughter of Shylock. Through these lines, we will be able to understand something about the character of Shylock. Jessica is a beautiful girl, but Shylock has laid many restrictions and has in fact made her prisoner in the home. So Jessica is not happy with her father. We will see in these lines what she says. What else about Jessica? Jessica also loves Lorenzo. And who is Lorenzo? Lorenzo is the servant of Shylock. And she hates her father. She makes a plan to elope with Lorenzo. She wants to run away from there. She is very unhappy in Shylock's home because because of Shylock's sordid housekeeping, his restrictions. The breath of home life, we think, is the trust, but there is no trust between the daughter and the father. One more thing why Jessica is unhappy with his father, that is the suspiciousness, lowest suspiciousness. Shylock has suspicion in his mind all the time. And what is that suspicion? That some Christian boy might enter to his house and can tempt his daughter and then elope or then take her away. So that was the fear in the mind of Shylock, and he had suspicion upon his daughter Jessica. And in this way, for Jessica, the home was not at all a home, but it was a hell. It had become a hell, and therefore she was planning to elope with Lorenzo. And Lorenzo, as we know, the servant of Shylock himself, but he is a Christian lover. He is a Christian boy. And Jessica also wants to convert herself into Christian. So, in this way, we have the background of these lines. Through these lines, we cannot assume, or we can hardly say against the character of Jessica, that she is losing, or that she is longing for Christian atmosphere. We cannot, say so. And we cannot also say that she wants to bloom. She wants to, fly in Christian atmosphere. But the reaction is that she is unhappy. She feels compunction. That is she has an allergy with his father. She is living there in pressure, not happily. Then come with these lines. Through these lines, then she says that she feels that it is a hateful sin to be ashamed to be her father's child. That is, she is ashamed to be the daughter of Shylock. And if she says so, it would also be a hateful sin. So she would not like to say like that, but it is true what she says, that she is ashamed of being the daughter of her father Shylock. But she cannot, however, help it, because this is the natural, and since she has born from him, therefore she can't help. Then she says that it's okay. She is the daughter of Shylock. So she says that she is the daughter by birth, yet she is in no way kindred to his disposition. That is, he has not adopted his manners, his attitudes, his likings, dislikings, or his wills, or his behavior, conduct, etc. His her mannerisms are different from her father's manners. That is, she is only the daughter by birth, not by manners. So, although she was living in such environment, such atmosphere where the Jew influences might be by and large, even then she has escaped repulsiveness. That is, she was not happy with her father. We also see that nowhere we find any evidence that Shylock must have ill treated Jessica in any way. Although such examples are not there, we have only that he wanted her to keep in the house in absolute seclusion. And then we can also justify Jessica's decision to desert her father, because Shylock had made her home as a hell, and so she was in love with Lorenzo and would let to desert a father like Shylock. That is, we come to know that she hates Shylock. She doesn't want to live in the house or in the home of Shylock. And when Jessica lost, but the contrast is, let's see the contrast. When Jessica lost or leaves the house, we feel a kind of pity upon Shylock also, because nowhere we find any such examples of the ill treatment towards his daughter. But it was the love which prompted Jessica to elope with Lorenzo. Okay, I think these lines are very much clear to you. From these lines and after the explanation, we can see also the critical note. Some of the points I have already told you about the critical note. That is, we learn from these lines about Shylock's character as a father from his own daughter Jessica's words. We learn about Shylock from his own daughter, what kind of man he is. That is, she hates her father. That is the important point. Jessica herself doesn't love her father because of his suspicious nature and strict behavior. The reason behind the hate is the suspicious nature of Shylock and his strict behavior. He doesn't want that his daughter should go out. These lines also open the character of Jessica, who wants to flutter in the open air, that is, of the Christian environment, because the Christian environment gives the freedom. And in this way, we come to know that she is annoyed by her father. So we should just let us repeat these lines. I think that will be clear. Alok, what heinous sin is it in me to be ashamed to be my father's child? So Jessica means to say that she is ashamed to say that she is the daughter of Shylock, and that then she says that it's okay, I am only the daughter from the blood, from Shylock's blood, but I am not like him. I don't possess the manners as Shylock has. Because Shylock was very strict, he was a Jew, and he was the man of conservative mood or the traditional moods, and he feared that the Christian boy or the person may cheat his daughter. In this way, we have seen these two passages from Act 2, Scene 1 and 3. Tomorrow we shall come with the new passages from this same act. Thank you very much.